Macmillan Audio presents An Irish Doctor in Peace and at War by Patrick Taylor. Read for you by John Keating. Chapter 1. A Rose by Any Other Name. Someone was ringing the front doorbell of number 1 Main Street, and insistently at that. Doctor Fingal Flahertie O'Reilly was eating a solitary lunch of cold roast ham, hard-boiled eggs, and salad, while his partner, Dr. Barry Lafferty, was out on an emergency home visit. "Coming!" O'Reilly roared, put down his knife and fork, and, grabbing his sports jacket from the back of a chair, headed for the front hall. His housekeeper, Kinky Kincaid, usually answered the door, but today she was preparing for her wedding the following day. The noon sun brightened the afternoon, but even its late April radiance could add little lustre to the full vestments of Mr. Robinson, the Presbyterian minister, who stood at the doorway wringing his hands. His rusty black robes, O'Reilly thought, made the man look like a dishevelled crow. "Yes, Your Reverence. What's up?" "Doctor, can you come across to the church at once, please?" "Somebody sick?" O'Reilly asked, shrugging into his jacket. "I'll get my bag." He turned, but was forestalled by the minister grabbing an arm. "Nobody's sick, but the War of the Roses is breaking out in my church. There's a row and a ructions, and I don't know what to do. Please come. If anybody in Ballybucklebo can stop it, it's you." He turned, trotted down the short, gravelled drive, and was forced by a lorry heading from Bangor to Belfast to wait for O'Reilly to catch up. As soon as there was a gap in the traffic, the minister hurried across the road to the church, with O'Reilly trailing behind. "What row?" O'Reilly asked, catching his breath as they passed under the Lich Gate. "Maggie Houston and Flo Bishop." "Who? Maggie and Flo?" O'Reilly frowned as they passed into the shadow of the old yews in the graveyards. "But they're old friends for better not say, God's sake." His frown deepened. "I think," he said, stopping in his tracks, "you'd better explain before we go in." Mr. Robinson sighed. "The ladies of the Women's Guild take it in turns on a weekly rota to look after decorating the church for services and ceremonies. Maggie Houston's on the duty this week, because we all know Kinky's fondness for wildflowers. Maggie's got them by the great gross." "For the wedding tomorrow?" "Correct, but Flo Bishop, being matron of honour, even though it's not her turn to do the flowers, has assumed responsibility for decorating the church with hothouse roses, because she says Kinky deserves the very best. She's formed a subcommittee with Aggie Arbuthnot and Sissy Sloane. Maggie whipped up support from Jeanie Jingles and Alice Maloney, and you have 2 regiments going at it hammer and tongs. The Wildflower Fusiliers and the Red Rose Rifles. Right." "Right. Mrs. Bishop and her gang have commandeered the communion table and choir area, and Maggie and her friends have placed themselves strategically—" "Say no more." O'Reilly, while being sympathetic to the minister's dilemma, was having great difficulty controlling an enormous grin. "Lead on, Macduff," he said. "This is something I've got to see." "Thank you, Doctor. They won't listen to me, but you'll make them see sense." O'Reilly followed the minister until they reached the nave, where the perfume of flowers was overpowering even the dust of 200 years that usually haunted the old building. On Maggie's side, heaps of freshly plucked wildflowers were piled on the front pew. Roses on the opposite side of the aisle formed Flo Bishop's ammunition dump. The 2 groups, led by their respective champions, stood facing each other at the top of the nave. "You'll do no such thing, Maggie McCorkle. It's..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?